Good morning, everyone. We are continuing here in the words of the Horowitz in the Sefer HaMitzvos HaKatzar. Mitzvahs Loisa say the negative commandment Ayin Zayin number 77. Shelo lahagid lachaveru dvarim shekenegdoi diber alav. You're not allowed to tell over to your friend, to another person, something that somebody else said against him. So you cannot share disparaging remarks about, let's say, Ruvain, that you heard Shimon say from himself. And he'll explain. Shenemar, it says in the Torah the following, Leiselech Rachel be'amecha. You cannot go as a tale bearer around amongst your people. This is the prohibition of what we call Rechlius, of tale bearing. What is this prohibition? Even though that what you're saying is the truth. It will come to destroy the world. Which means if I hear something negative about somebody else, and I go to that person, I say, do you know what Ruvain said about you? So even though that I'm merely transmitting the truth that was said already, and even perhaps what Ruvain said was also a truthful statement about Shimon over here, nevertheless, by tale-bearing this message, I'm being machriv ha'olam, I'm destroying the world. V'avayin gadolhu, it is a terrible sin. V'garim laharag nefashas mi Yisrael, and it brings about the death of many, kills many, murder of many people amongst Klal Yisrael. Kedemitzina b'doeg ha'adoimi, like a case in Tanakh of doeg ha'adoimi, who had a situation of tale-bearing, and it brought about the murder of numerous people amongst Klal Yisrael. Says the Horowitz, your words are so powerful. You think all you're doing is transmitting the conversation or the statement that you heard from another person. At the end of the day, you're machriv es ha'olam, you could end up destroying the world as a result. V'yesh avayin gadol mizad ma'od, there's even a greater sin that's much worse than this. V'hu bichlal lav zeh, but it's also included in this prohibition. V'hu Lashon HaRa, this is Lashon HaRa, this is gossip, evil speech. V'zeu medaber b'genus chaver. What is Lashon HaRa? It's when you speak despairingly about a friend. Af al pi sha'omer emes, even though you're saying the truth. It happens to be that Ruvain is a very lazy person. So you go and you tell somebody, Ruvain is so lazy. Happens to be that Ruvain is not a very honest person. You can never trust him and rely upon him. So you go to your friend and he says, I thought I could trust Ruvain, but I see that I can't. Very unreliable. I'm not saying falsehood. I'm not trying to defame him in such I'm just telling the truth. And someone who tells falsehood though about him, Nikra Maitzi Shemra, that's another level over here. It's called Maitzi Shemra, which means you're spreading a bad rumor about this person. Let's say that Reuven really is a big Baal Tzedakah. He's very generous with his money. And I end up saying, I went to him for collect money for a certain organization, and I found him very stingy. He only gave me $50,000. What can I tell you? So you're being Motzei Shem of a Lashon HaRa hu Omer. What is Lashon HaRa? Kach v'kach asa Pliny. You say, Pliny, this person did such and such a thing. Kach v'kach hayavoisav. Or his fathers, his forefathers. Yeah, they were shmutzi kind of people. You can't trust them. V'kach shemati alav. This is what I heard about him. V'omer devarim shel ganai. You say over things that are disgraceful bits of information about this person. Al zeh amar kosev. On this the pasuk says, Yaches Hashem kosisei chalakos. HaKadosh Baruch Hu will cut off all of the lips that are smooth. Lashem medaberes gdolos. A mouth that speaks big things, meaning the smooth tongue that lets Lashon HaRa slip right out of it and speaks not nice things about somebody else, HaKadosh Baruch Hu will eventually cut those lips off. And therefore, says the Horowitz, we have a ways to go still here in the laws of Lashon HaRa. This is a long piece. We'll continue tomorrow, Be'ez Hashem. The Horowitz tells us two things. Number one, there's something called Rechlius, and that is where you take the words that you heard from one person, negative words about somebody else, and you go and you share that with that other person. And number two, you have Lashon HaRa. Lashon HaRa is where you yourself say words that are disdainful and disgraceful and can hurt the reputation of another person. And then, of course, is even worse is Matzah Shemra, when you're lying about the things that you're saying and you're spreading wild rumors about this person that are simply not true. Have a wonderful day.